But if we must criticize, we'll only do that on one condition: to build and not to destroy. This is in the service of God and country. And from the newsreel, we keep it real. This is the Blackport. My brother, my sister, today we have a number of issues we need to look at. And I need you to come along. Today, my brother, my sister, we have a lot of issues to look at. And if you are ready, I am more than ready. Come along and let's go deep into this and find out what we can achieve together. I read, and this, my brother, my sister, I am taking from My Joy Online. It says, Menzgold saga. I don't own anything in Ghana, not even a car. Nanapia Mensah, aka Nam One, speaks. And I read, in the ongoing Menzgold controversy, where victims are relentlessly seeking justice for their vanished investments, the chief executive officer has portrayed himself as the foremost casualty of the entire debacle. As the demands for accountability persisted, Nanapia Mensah, also known as Nam One, has admitted to being the one bearing the brunt of the crisis fallout. Nam One's assertion stems from the personal losses he claims to have incurred due to the downfall of Menzgold. He emphasized that the company's collapse has left him bereft of all possessions. In the heated conversation on social media, he declared that if you want to crown the biggest loser in all of this, I am the one, because I lost everything. I lost all my properties, and I don't even have a car of my own in this country. My brother, my sister, at least I can speak as an insider who worked with Nanapia Mensah for almost 3 years. What Nanapia Mensah is saying is very deep and sad. It is true. Nanapia Mensah doesn't own anything. In fact, when Menzgold was going from strength to strength, people were rushing there to do business. Everything was going on good. Nanapia Mensah became the new focus of the whole economy. Politicians were coming there to take money. We saw a lot of big-time politicians who came and sat there and drank coffee. In fact, so many different people came in. Nanapia Mensah's focus was the youth. He signed on musicians, signed on broadcasters, signed on actors and actresses, and so on and so forth. The biggest mistake Nanapia Mensah made was trying to change the Ghanaian economy, trying to change the fate of the Ghanaian economy in just a twinkle of an eye. My brother, we all know what Nanapia Mensah had. We all know how much money he had. We all know the jamboree. In fact, he had with his money. We saw him throwing money in traffic. At his birthdays and other such occasions, we saw him dropping dollars from the top of a building. In fact, many people said it was foolhardiness, or maybe just youthful exuberance. Many other people said it was overexcitement. For me, my brother, my sister, I think that the celebrity status ate into his mind, and he forgot that he was a businessman and not a celebrity. My brother, my sister, Nanapia Mensah suffered from what is known as the celebrity canker. All of a sudden, without any cause to panic, government officials came in, closed down his business, and the rest is history. In the days of John Dramani Mahama, the Attorney General and all the institutions that mattered came over to him and spoke to him about his business. In fact, they told him about their fears that it might end up in a Ponzi scheme if one or two things were not done. In fact, they started working on dealing with those things that were not too good around the time. All of a sudden, they lost power. Nana Akufo-Addo came into being, the new president of the republic. It was one warning after the other, so carelessly and without emotions, so senselessly. What they did first and foremost was to warn customers, don't go there, forgetting that the man had tens of thousands of customers already there. How do you help them out? They made a careless announcement. Go for your money. Oh. If you don't go for your money, anything that happens is unto you. Oh. Government will not give you anything. Oh. And there was what was known as panic withdrawals. My brother, which institution, which financial institution in Ghana can survive panic withdrawals? Recently, we saw how people even bought government bonds and went to the banks to collect their dividends. What happened to them? They gave them unprofessional haircuts. This government has betrayed itself. It's a shame. When panic withdrawal started, Nana Mensah tried to deal with that. At that point, he should have been advised properly. But no, he gave out all the money he had to the panic withdrawers. Before we realized, Nana Mensah ran dry. I had worked there for just 2.5 months. I remember that meeting we had when Nana Mensah announced to all of us that it will be difficult to pay that month's salary. I was shocked. This was a man who was said to have a whole house full of gold. This was a man who was said to have so much money locked up in so many different warehouses in dollars and pounds. That was the legend we heard about Nana Mensah. All of a sudden, he told us he couldn't even pay salaries. After 2.5 months of working there, I couldn't believe this. The reality stared at me very viciously. And before I realized, my cringing brows were being slapped so haphazardly. 17 months we went without pay. He didn't have it. Even sometimes, we had to borrow. There are some things I can't tell you. And if I tell you the kind of people we borrowed money from, don't ask me who we borrowed the money for, because I will not say it. My brother, my sister, a man rose to the ultimate, a young man. He had a thriving business. There was no cause for alarm. Dirty government, useless government came into power. Hey, Ponzi scheme, all of you go for your money. You see how God has cursed you? Nana Akufo-Addo's pot belly is growing bigger and bigger every day. It might be a disease. Finance minister has, I don't know what it is, only his doctors can tell. But he's running left, right, and center, treating liver and lungs left, right, and center. It's all because of what you did to Ghanaian businesses. If you guys are not lucky and get back and pray properly and ask for forgiveness from the blood that is crying from the ground, you will all visit early graves, one after the other. You are wicked. Look how many people have died from the Menzgold saga. Today, we all did not want to come out and say it, but Nana Mensah has said it himself. He's broke. I tried saying it in an interview some time ago, but I checked myself and said, listen, let the horse himself speak. 17 months were not paid. When I said it, many were those who thought that we were lying. Many were those who thought that, oh, they are just trying to do a certain PR gimmick. Today, Nana Mensah himself is saying that doesn't even own a car. When I was there, he used to rent cars. We were renting cars for Nana Mensah when he returned. And sometimes the car owners would have to come there. Bills had not been paid for 2 months, 3 months. They were coming to take the cars away. This is where Nana Mensah is. Who do him? Dirty, useless government. Now look at what happened to the Bank of Ghana. Look at what happened to the rest of the Ghanaian banks. There was a time all the banks were at the beck and call of Menzgold. There was a time when every young girl wanted to be a Menzgolder. There was a time when everybody was running to Menzgold. And it was such a glorifying situation to be part of Menzgold. My brother, my sister, you killed his business. Right now he's here trying to rise. Unfortunately, he doesn't have good advisors around them. And everybody can see that the man is desperate. From playboy to pay boy to say boy to gay boy, whatever. He's not going to wash. Nobody's going to give his money to Nana Mensah. It takes people with good understanding to know that Nana Mensah did not defraud anybody. It's the government of Ghana that did it. And they will visit early graves, one after the other. I prophesy. Take it or leave it. Next thing I want to look at is coming from Ghana Web, and it says, you will live to regret if you don't defend Cecilia Dapaah. And this is Maurice Ampao speaking to the NPP. And I read, lawyer Maurice Ampao has warned the New Patriotic Party that failure to defend embattled former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah will have later consequences. Speaking on his Mrane Abrabo Munsem show on Wuntumi TV on August 21, 2023, Maurice Ampao cited how the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has in recent past supported their embattled members. He cited the case of Member of Parliament for Asin North constituency, James Yachi, who was expunged from Parliament and currently facing criminal charges at the High Court. He said, the same way the NDC stood by him to recapture his seat is the same route that MPP must deal with Ms. Dapaah, who is being investigated for corruption and corruption-related offenses over huge sums of money. Why? You see, people like Maurice Ampao, it looks like the bleaching has gone into their brain and is bleaching their brains. You see what he said? This is a lawyer. This is a guy that I met once. He's a guy that I respect, despite what Ghanaians say about him. Look, Jachi Kwesi is a criminal in my mind, and I've said it time and again. Very unpatriotic guy. And when I say that, some political people don't like it. My brother, my sister, Jachi Kwesi did not hoard millions of American dollars in his house. Jachi Kwesi did not have millions of American dollars in his bank accounts. He's only been unpatriotic, and he's decided to draw this country into disrepute by his actions, as told to us by Alote Jacob. My brother, even the MPP is ashamed of Cecilia Dapaah. The president who ran with a knee-jerk reaction, oh, you shall be exonerated, before even thinking about the investigations, today is embarrassed because he didn't know that Cecilia Dapaah had a loot of millions of American dollars as told to us by the OSP in her bank accounts. Is this a situation you can defend? Any lawyer who goes in there is only going to chop money, nyafo, 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 nyafo. But this woman, only God can save her. Hey, let us be patriotic. Let us sit back and look at Ghana as the bigger picture. I am not saying she stole the money. I am not saying she's a thief. I'm not saying she got it illegally, but it smacks of money laundering. It smacks of thievery. And I will not be surprised if the law courts come out with that decision. My brother, my sister, whatever it is, we are waiting to hear what the law court will say. Your country has run to epic. Your government is crying, is hemorrhaged, financially hemorrhaged. And you have millions in your bank account, millions in your house. And now we are told that some of the millions were owned by ghosts. What a ridiculous situation. And Maurice Ampao says, let us support this woman and defend her. Defend her with what? NDC defended their own. They push for the man to win the seat. You too, you have to support your own. Push your own so that she can also be free. Free of what? I am hurt. It looks like it's all about parties and never about the country. May God punish all these people one after the other. May they bleach themselves to death. May they steal themselves to death. To God be the glory. Ghana shall prosper. My name Black Rasta. It's been the Black Pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. I shall return in the African History class.